First and foremost, we're going to talk about the Carolina game. We'll get into the jersey retirement. I want to lead off just by asking the both of you, and Jim, we'll start with you. Going into that 1974-75 season, what were the expectations? Were you thinking Final Four at that time? Were you thinking national title contender? What was the expectation going into that season?
I don't think we weren't thinking as far as the Final Four. We were thinking of who's the first game, and game to game is all. That's how we did it. There was nothing more than that. Just when the game started, we wanted to make sure we were in a position to win every game, just like any other sport I ever played in high school. You lace them up, you want to win, whether it's in the park or even on the court. You don't want to be on the losing side. So there weren't expectations at that point. Just go out and play hard as we can together and see what happens.
So along those lines, Rudy, was there a moment during the season, like going back to the 2003 championship season, I've talked with Jerry McNamara about this, and he said, the game at Michigan State for them felt like a moment where he was like, you know what, we might be able to go on a run here. Was there a moment or a game that year where you felt like this could be a pretty special season for Syracuse basketball?
No, not any one particular game, because as Jim mentioned, we just took one game at a time. So I wasn't thinking about any kind of runs, or I don't think as a team we thought about winning more or playing more than one game at a time. It was just the way our system worked. I mean, if we played one game, we'd show up on Monday for practice, and the next game's scouting report would be on the board, and that's the only thing we focused on, just meticulous preparation for every game. I think that there was one point in the season where we were hoping our run would stop. That's when we were losing. And, and I think that we were hoping that run would stop. So, but I never thought that we were thinking about, how many games we needed to win to get to where we needed to go. We were just wanting to win the next game.
And you guys did that, and you did it well. And let's talk about the 1975 NCAA tournament. You open with LaSalle, a 4-point win in the regional quarterfinal, and that set up, of course, the monster matchup against North Carolina, ranked 6th in the country. Dean Smith, Phil Ford, on down the list. Obviously, very well-known program, blue blood program. Jim, I'm going to start with you on this one. Aside from, of course, the way the game ended in that last play, and we'll get to the final minute here as we move along, but what else stood out to you about that game, about that matchup, about that day in particular for you?
Well, even before we got to that game, Steve, we were in the first round of the NCAA tournament against LaSalle, and LaSalle was always in the top 10, I think, for all 3 years we played them. Correct, Rudy?
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean, and I remember we had to beat them in overtime, and I don't know, nobody would remember that game, but the younger kids would know that we played against Kobe Bryant's father.
Yes.
And
Joe.
And Rudy and Joe actually happened to be friends afterwards over in Italy playing ball together, right?
Yes, and right, as well as the NBA.
I do remember Red Auerbach was sitting in the palestra like a couple rows behind our bench that game, so he was probably there to see Rudy. But we had to get by LaSalle, and we got by them twice in the last month of the season and the first round in the playoffs, and we played them at the palestra, which was kind of their home court. But Syracuse, when we played, we considered the palestra our home court too, because we never got beat there, correct? Never lost a game in the palestra. So just to get to the East Regionals, and I remember Coach D, I think it was him that just put it on the board. I don't know why he did it, whatever. I think it was at the ECAC tournament. Whether he was fooling around, it was all right, 1 down and 5 or 6 to go. And so all of a sudden we got through the ECAC, and that was, 2 down, 4 to go. Then we beat LaSalle, all right, 3 down, 3 to go, or 2 to go to get to the Final Four. And all of a sudden, that's when we started thinking about it. But if you remember, Steve, you wouldn't remember because you weren't born. When we went to Providence, the papers up there and the media were like, Well, it looks like North Carolina will play the winner of Boston College and Kansas State. They never even mentioned our name that we were playing. I remember, that's one of the things I remember. And just when we went on the court and we were being introduced and or warming up, one thing I remember, they had some pretty good looking cheerleaders, the Southern Bells, I guess. And I think we had 3 cheerleaders total on our team back then, but it's like, wow, this is a different game when you play the big boys. But I do one quick thing with like at a halftime. I do remember Coach Danforth going to us, gentlemen, we are going to win this game. We were either down 1 point or 2 points. I'm not sure what it was. He goes, we are going to win this game. He goes, we're 1 or 2 down. He goes, Rudy has yet to score a basket. We're going to win this game. And like the rest of us sitting go, okay, whatever you say. But I do specifically remember that. And turned around, things happened our way.
So it leads perfectly in my next question, Rudy, because I was going to get to that. You were in foul trouble, right? Much of that first half, did not score in the first half. Tell me about that experience. Again, we'll get to the final minute and, everything that happened there down the stretch of the game. But, what's that like for you? Biggest game of your collegiate career, chance to, go to the regional final. It's North Carolina, and you're saddled with foul trouble. And, take me through that first half and I guess into the second half from your perspective.
Well, the thing I remember most about the way Carolina played was their defense, as well as their ball control. They were clogging the key, the 3-second area, with so many players every time I got the ball that I couldn't get to the rim. And even if I got it around the foul line and started driving to the basket, I couldn't get to the basket because there were always 2 or 3 guys back there waiting for me. And it was very, 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 very difficult to score near the basket. And I just saw blue all the time. And it was very, very frustrating the first half because I knew that we needed points from me, but it wasn't like I needed to score them for me. I needed to score for our team. And I needed to figure out a way to do that. And so I was trying to understand what did I need to do to help us score. If I couldn't, I was going to find someone else that could. And then in the end, I understood that they were closing up the 3-second zone so much that we were open on the perimeter, and that's what led up to the passes outside from inside out to the opposite side of the key, and that's where I found Jimmy, and that's what led to that shot. The other thing that I remember was I mentioned ball control, and they had this stall game back there where they would just put the ball in Phil Ford's hands, and he would dribble around and dribble out the clock. Well, Jim drew a great offensive foul, and they called it the other way. So we come over to the bench at the timeout, and Coach Danforth tells everybody, he says, Jim, draw another offensive foul. They can't call 2 of them against us. And sure enough, that's what he did. And they did not call it against us. They gave us the ball. And that's what I remember, because Coach D said, Jim, hey, draw another offensive foul. Try and get another one on because they're not going to call 2 against us. And I'll always remember that. And thanks to Jim, we were able to get the ball back and take that ball control out of their system and out of the game. And we got a hold of the basketball, and good things happened after that.
Yeah, Jim, I was going to ask you about that. So, there's no shot clock back then. They're in their 4 corners offense. They're up by 1. They're, running the clock. I think they had the ball for like 2 minutes. This day and age, you're fouling, right? And that wasn't a thing back then. I think Jim Valvano's the one that actually kind of popularized that at the end of game situations. Back then, you're not doing that. So, talk me through getting the ball back. Down 1, you're running out of time. They're in the 4 corners, and you need a turnover, and Phil Ford's got the ball. Walk me through that.
Well, I will tell you that I'm not stupid. And leading up to that game, and once again, I told you earlier, like we're on once a week or once a year on the ECAC Game of the Week. And now all of a sudden, this game is going to be on TV, and I'm thinking before the game, I didn't share this with anybody else except for probably some friends back home. It's like, if it's close at the end of the game, they're going to go into their four corners, and I'm going to be in the middle covering Phil Ford, and the whole friggin' country's going to see this. And luckily, they only had a chance to do that the last couple of minutes of the game, but like Rudy mentioned, the first time I did it, and I saw some tapes, and Phil Ford, he went right more often than left. So I had to guess because he's a lot quicker than I am, and I tried it the first time, and it should have been an offensive foul.
Yeah.
And I got up and Coach Danforth did. He said the same thing. He said, Jim, do it again. I believe he said they don't have the call it on you again. There's some expletives in there. So, okay, and I did it again, and actually it was the exact same setup. I mean, I had the exact same positioning, and they didn't call it this time. They gave us the call. But I believe before they got the ball back, I think Chris Cease made a jump shot to get us within one, right, Rudy, from the corner? So we had to get the ball back, and it's like, well, it's either that, and I'm probably deep down and said, well, I might as well go for one now so I'm not stuck out here for a half an hour or 30 seconds to try covering Phil. And luckily we got the call with 27 seconds to go. And then, I don't even think we didn't even call a timeout, right, Rudy? Because we had already gone over all this stuff. It was our ball at the side of the court, and we didn't call a timeout because we used to go through these things in practice. If there's 30 seconds left and we're looking for one, here's what we do. If there's 25, if there's 20, 15, 10, 5. So the only thing Coach Danforth said is check out and see if they're man or if they're zone and do what we've practiced. And that's how it was set up. And they came out, they were in their zone, and we just moved the ball around like we had all game and like we had all season. Like we were a real good team together. We got the ball to the open man, and everybody was involved offensively all the time. And like I said, I think when Rudy got the ball down low, I think 4 guys were on him. If I'm not correct, I think all of them collapsed.
All I saw was blue and white.
They collapsed on me, and then when he threw it to me, I mean, where I got that ball, that's like one of my favorite shots. I believe that I would probably, when we played horse together, that's where I would just go back and forth, foul line, extend, and everybody, you can't do that. He goes, well, you got to get the first shot. I'm going to keep doing it. And Rudy gave it to me right then, and it's just like I was in my backyard. That's all I was thinking about. Now, I've missed those shots before at the end of a game, but it didn't matter. It's not life or death. I knew I could make them, and I was pretty confident that game. And Rudy had mentioned earlier about like when everybody was collapsing, if I remember right, Rudy, I think Jimmy Williams was also 9 for 11 from outside that game. So, even though they were packing in on Rudy, we made our jump shots that day. I know I did. Jimmy did. I mentioned Chris earlier. Everybody who was throwing, we were on fire, but somebody had to be open when they had so many guys down on Rudy.
So Rudy, that's Jim's experience from that play and his memory, his recollection. What about you? That final play, that winning shot. Walk us through it from your perspective.
Well, I kind of felt that we were going to execute properly, and so I knew that meant me getting the basketball, and I would have to make a very quick decision as to what to do with it once I got it, and all I did was just look over my shoulder, and I saw that they were coming down on me, and there was no way I was going to get to the basket to get the ball up, so I just in and out of it to the other side, as we've done as many times before, and we practiced. But there's one thing that Jimmy didn't mention. When we went through the season, and there was a moment in the season where we were having trouble winning games, and we were all looking at ourselves in the mirror to try to understand, what we could do to help us out of this losing streak. And Jimmy was having trouble making baskets and making shots, and we were roommates. And I talked to him about it. I said, hey man, let's go up to the gym and get some shots this week, and let's see if we can work on this and figure out how we can help us out of this situation and help you get back on track of making shots. So we went up to the gymnasium up top from Lawrenson, and we just worked on the shots that we would get and worked on our offense and tried to understand what we could do to get him out of his shooting slump. And Jimmy said, okay, this is where I want to be. This is the shot I want to take. And I said, okay, we're going to make like it's the game, and I'm going to get it in and throw it out to you, get it in and throw it out to you, get it in and throw it out to you. And you start nailing those shots. Well, we did that enough times where he got his rhythm back, and all of a sudden he broke out of his shooting slump. And I think that was something that no one would ever know about and would ever think to do. But it's something as two roommates and two teammates decided to do. We just did it on our own, and we were up there in the gym at 9:30, 10 o'clock after dinner, and we were up there working on our offense and trying to make us a better team and make us better players. And then it turned out that the gods of basketball blessed us at the end, and Jimmy made the shot that we had been practicing on during the week, and I was just happy. I knew he was going to be there because he'd been there since our freshman year playing on a freshman team. But it was also in our varsity system, and something like Jim said, we worked on, and we knew exactly what we were going to do because that's what Coach Danforth had us work on, and we executed it just like he said that we would. And it turned out just like he said. We found the open guy. I'm sure if he didn't have the shot, there would be another guy that he could swing it to, and we get it. And Jim would do that if he wasn't open, but he was, and he buried the shot. Thanks, I think, to his confidence and rebuilding his confidence from a moment during the season when things weren't going so well.
Yeah, it's a great story, and it kind of brings us full circle to today. All these years later, it's long overdue. You both should be in the rafters by now, but they're making it right this weekend, and we get to see your jerseys retired. I guess kind of a two-part question to both of you. And Jim, I'll start with you. What does it mean to you to have your jersey retired? And then the second part of that is, what does it mean to go through this process and this ceremony and this day with your roommate and your good friend, alongside you?
Well, I don't think anybody will truly know how honored and humble that I am that this is happening for me. When I came, basically my first couple of years at Syracuse, I wasn't a heavy recruit, as Rudy will tell you. I only weighed 155 or 60 pounds. I think I was known as Mike Lee's younger brother until he graduated, and I'm not so sure anybody even knew my name. But I think the best thing that ever happened to me is the guys that we played with in 1974-75. I mean, we all bonded together. We were a team. 15 of us stuck together when we went through our losing streak, when I was in my shooting slump, and we just figured okay, it looks like it's the 15 of us against the whole campus and whoever said anything bad about us when we lost a couple of those games, which we shouldn't have lost, but we did. But we learned from it. And I think, for me, the 1975 team in the season, how things panned out, I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm up there, and I apologize to nobody that I happened to play as good as or better than anybody in the country at the end of my senior year. But I hope that any of my teammates, when they look at this, when my name's up there, I mean, it belongs to them just as much as it belongs to me. And I am truly honored to go up there with Rudy, because in my eyes, Rudy should have been up there right after Dave Bing and Dennis Duval went up. And for whatever reason, I do not know why, his numbers speak for themselves on everything as far as rebounding, scoring, games played. But he was the ultimate teammate, and he should have been up there a long time ago. But so it's a truly an honor for me to be up there, especially going in with him.
And Rudy, I'm going to give you a chance to respond to that as well. So, same question. What does it mean to you, and what does it mean to share this with Jim on Saturday?
Well, I'm very honored and very humbled. I told the guys that this opportunity to be in a ceremony of this sort is just a reflection of our team and all the work we put together, our coaching staff, and belief in ourselves. And I just am very grateful that the university not only recognized me, but more so recognized our team. Because it's something that is very special and you remember for the rest of your life when you get a group of guys together and they grow together. And we did from our freshman year. I think that's one of the great things that I can appreciate about the years that we went to school is that we had a freshman team. And those freshmen, 5, 6 freshmen that came in together, the 5 scholarship players, we bonded in that year that we had to play as a freshman team. And we built our relationships that lasted for 4 whole years. And we made it to the Final Four as a team that were freshmen 4 years previously. And I think that that's something that we appreciate about Syracuse University is that we were able to stay together and represent our school. Through the ups and downs, it didn't make a difference to me. I was just proud of the university and proud of our basketball family and community. And I'm just grateful that I had a bunch of guys surrounding me, had a great community environment at Syracuse, a great athletic program, and wonderful fans from our school, our students that supported us all the time. I just really grateful to be surrounded by them and have the opportunity to represent the school. And to see my number go up there along with Jim's, we were co-captains, and I wouldn't have asked for anything more than, if they couldn't put everybody's number up there as a team, that we went up there as co-captains representing the team, because I have a great deal of respect for Jim as a player, but much more as a person, for him and his family and what they taught me in life.
Gentlemen, you look at everything that transpired after that 75 Final Four run, and Jim Boeheim takes over and, goes to a handful of Final Fours himself. Syracuse wins a national title. Syracuse is considered one of the top 10 basketball programs in the country. And you guys, you and your teammates were the ones who put Syracuse basketball on the map. All these years later, can you, looking back, can you appreciate that aspect, not just that team and the individual accolades, but really the history that you guys helped form? You laid the foundation for it, right? I mean, I don't know, Jim, we'll start with you. Can you appreciate, I guess, the significance that you and that team had on Syracuse basketball?
I mean, I do know that in hindsight and everything going forward, yes, we did play a part in this, and I think that's what our team in 75 always thinks, like, we went to the Final Four, and nobody can ever take that away from us, no matter what they say. And I think all of us know that we did have a hand in everything going forward. But it's not just us. I think it was from a few years ahead of time with my brother Mike and Mark Waddick, Bobby Dooms, Dennis Duval. They had a hand in getting us to the point where we got. So we learned immensely from them. And I think all of Coach Danforth's years had something to do with what happened, getting everything to spiral upwards for the university. And no, I'm very proud of what we've done. And like I say, like Rudy and I and our teammates, we talk. We can say something if we don't like anything, something the way the basketball team might play, but nobody else can say that, or we'll be all over them. But we can, because we've been there.
That's fair, absolutely fair. Rudy, how about you? Can you appreciate the significance that you and your team played in the history of Syracuse basketball?
Well, absolutely. I think that when we look at how this all began, and I look back as far as our freshman year with Coach Billy Best, and through the years with Coach Tommy Green and Coach Boeheim and Coach Danforth. And I really have a great deal of respect for not only what they did, and as Jim mentioned, not only for Royce Runts, for Mike Lee and Waddick and Dooms and Dennis and Tommy Stundis and all those guys that played before us, Greg Kidd Coles and all those guys. Because when I went to Syracuse, I looked up to those guys. And, as freshmen, I saw what our school was made of. and I saw what our team was made of. And not having the opportunity to play for Syracuse and to get them started on this road to the success that they've enjoyed is a great honor. And I wasn't an All-American high school basketball coming out, but I give thanks even to guys like to Dave Bing. And he gave me an opportunity to come to his camps during the summer and for me to work out and get better there. So I look back on Dave. Dave played a tremendous part in my life. And, as a Syracuse graduate, his name is up there, and I'm proud to be up there with him, with Dennis, with Carmelo, and Jim, and all the guys that are up there. I'm just so happy that we had an opportunity to be a part of the school's history. And we are just a stepping stone to greater things, but I'm glad that we were able to accomplish what we did and had the opportunity to represent our school. And it's a great honor and a great feeling.
Yeah, very true. Great message, Rudy. Great message, Jim. I very much enjoyed this. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy your time in Syracuse. You guys have both deserved it. I hope it's a great weekend. I hope it's everything that you guys are hoping it to be.
We'll stop and say hi at your pregame shows, Steve.
All right, absolutely. We'll be up there. We'll be up there till 1 o'clock. So
Steve,
please,
thank you.
Please do.
Thank you very, very much, and I appreciate the time, and I hope that you can put together something that will help inspire the kids and make the university proud. And we appreciate the work and the opportunities you've given us to talk with you about this and about our lives at the university and about what we feel can do to help this team and help this university have greater success. Thank you. Thanks, Jim. Thanks to Jim. And we really appreciate it and look forward to seeing you when we get up there.
All right.
I'll see you this weekend, Rudy.
Sounds good, guys.
Right.
Much respect. Thanks so much. We'll see you in town in a few days.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.